From imitating a sex act in the middle of a Queen's Club championship game to playing badly just so he could leave the Shanghai Masters early. These are all the absurd reasons Nick Kyrgios has been fined. Starting with the chaotic sex act episode. Now, this is something that must have scarred the audience for life. Kyrgios got himself in hot water, or should I say hot water bottle, during the Queen's Club Championship semifinal. Apparently, he thought it would be hilarious to simulate a sexual act with a water bottle while the cameras were rolling. And to top it off, he even sprayed water in the air before taking a sip and grinning like a mischievous little devil. Unfortunately for him, there was no happy ending as he lost the match to Marin Cilic. And to make matters worse, he was slapped with a hefty $15,000 fine for his inappropriate behavior. Tournament supervisor Lars Graf was not amused, to say the least. Oh, but wait, it looks like the Aussie doesn't regret it. In a recent interview, Nick himself admitted to the whole thing and even made a joke about it. He said, "I was at this really prestigious tournament and I pretended to jerk off with a water bottle and got fined $15,000. It's bad for tennis." Oh, Nick, what will you think of next? I don't know about you, but if my kids had been in the audience, I would have been super pissed. Anyway, this isn't the only time that he's traumatized the audience. This one time, he basically told the fans to shut up. After a tough loss to Rafael Nadal at Indian Wells, the fiery Aussie had some choice words for his hecklers in the crowd. And let's just say they were not polite. In response to the constant yelling and distractions, Kyrgios snapped, "Don't tell me how to play, just be quiet." Ooh, burn. But it didn't stop there. The 26-year-old's frustration boiled over, and he even received a code violation for screaming an obscenity during the first set tiebreak. Yikes. Despite all the drama, Kyrgios insisted that the atmosphere of the match was amazing. Huh, really? Maybe he was the only one who thought so. He clashed with both the crowd and the chair umpire multiple times, and even smashed his racket not once, but twice. Talk about a temper tantrum. In the end, he had a little something to say to his rowdy crowd. He told them that they have bought tickets to watch the two play. So maybe the masses should calm down and not start screaming right before the first or the second serve. Hey, we get it, Nick. But maybe take your own advice and keep your cool next time, okay? In the end, he was fined £20,500. Yikes. And you know what? These outbursts are super common for him. I mean, all of us remember the infamous sexual remark he had for Stan Wawrinka. So, there was this time when tennis bad boy Nick Kyrgios took trash talking to a whole new level. During a match against Stan Wawrinka in 2015, Kyrgios made some derogatory and sexual remarks about Wawrinka's girlfriend, Donna Vekic. He basically said, "Kokonakis banged your girlfriend. Sorry to tell you that, mate." And as if that isn't disgusting enough, he also muttered under his breath about how Stan's banging 18-year-olds. Hey, his words, not mine. Let's just say that the tennis world was not pleased with Kyrgios' behavior. He faced a $10,000 fine from the Association of Tennis Professionals and was also suspended from playing for 28 days. But that's not all. Kyrgios' behavior also led to an investigation by the ATP, which resulted in him being put on a 6-month probationary period. And the cherry on top of this scandalous sundae? Kyrgios' own team publicly condemned his behavior, calling it disgusting and unacceptable. Now, I'm not one to judge, but it's safe to say Kyrgios learned his lesson, at least for a little while. And hopefully he's since realized that trash-talking your opponent's girlfriend is a big no-no. Now, wait, if you thought that fine was crazy, wait till you hear about this next one, because do you remember the 2019 Cincinnati Masters episode? During his second-round match against Karen Khachanov, Nick let loose with a verbal assault on chair umpire Fergus Murphy that was so profanity-laced, it would make a sailor blush. It all started when Nick took issue with Murphy's monitoring of the shot clock, and from there, it was a non-stop barrage of insults and abuse. Nick called Murphy a potato, a disgrace, and even the worst ref in the world. At one point, he threw his towel over a camera, forcing broadcasters to switch to an overhead view. And when the match ended, Nick refused to shake Murphy's hand, instead telling him, "You're a fucking tool, bro," and appearing to spit in his direction. Now, you might be thinking, surely there were consequences for this kind of behavior. And you'd be right. Nick was hit with a whopping $113,000 fine, the largest total fine since 1990, according to the ATP World Tour's official record books. And it wasn't just one thing he got fined for. Oh, no. He got hit with 5 charges of unsportsmanlike conduct, totaling $85,000, $20,000 for verbal abuse, $5,000 for audible obscenity, and $3,000 for leaving the court without permission. Jeez Louise, and that isn't the only record he's made. He's also got the biggest fine in US Open history. One thing is for sure, the man certainly knows how to make headlines. During his match against Karen Khachanov, the fiery Australian lost his cool and smashed 2 rackets on the court, prompting officials to hand him the biggest fine of 2022. But that's not all. Kyrgios also picked up 4 other fines for his colorful language and even spitting. Geez, what is his obsession with spitting? It all added up to a whopping $32,500 in fines. Despite the hefty fines, Kyrgios still managed to walk away from the US Open with a pretty penny in his pocket. He earned a cool $445,000 for his singles performance, and an additional $28,200 for reaching the 3rd round of doubles with Thanasi Kokkinakis. Maybe that's why he never really learns. But due to his 5 fines, his grand sum was reduced to $440,700. It seems Kyrgios can't resist a bit of controversy, but he'll have to be careful if he doesn't want to lose his hard-earned cash in fines. And another one of his fines that stunned the world was from the Shanghai Open game in 2017. Let me tell you about the time Nick Kyrgios stirred up trouble at the Shanghai Masters in 2017. Kyrgios was fined $10,000 and lost $21,000 in prize money after his 2nd round exit from the tournament. But why was he fined? You ask. Well, let's just say he wasn't exactly on his best behavior. During his match against Steve Johnson, the Aussie was accused of tanking, or not giving his best effort. He received a warning from the umpire and proceeded to argue with the official, saying he didn't want to be there and was ready to go home. But that's not all, folks. He was also caught on camera with the disgusting sexual act I told you about earlier, which earned him another fine. And to top it all off, he then walked off the court before Johnson had even served match point. All of this bad behavior earned Kyrgios a hefty $31,085 in fines and a suspension ban from the ATP Tour. Ouch. But hey, this is Nick Kyrgios we're talking about, and he's never been one to shy away from controversy, so he misses out on all that cash. Does it bother him? When it comes to the matches, all he cares about is winning the titles. In fact, he's even said that he doesn't really care about any other tournament, and that he feels like having success at a Grand Slam is all that matters. According to Nick, it's all about the Grand Slams. At these big events, it's either win or lose, and that's what people remember. Nobody cares if you played your best match, threw tantrums, lost in the 4th or 5th round, or got better on the day. It's all about the result. So, in Nick's eyes, every other tournament throughout the year is just a waste of time. You just have to show up and play your best at the Grand Slams, because that's what you'll be remembered for. And let's be honest, who needs money when you've got the glory of a Grand Slam title to bask in? Anyway, even if he doesn't care about it, the people really do. So, aren't you wondering how much he's been fined in all his time in the game? Well, the star tennis player has gathered a jaw-dropping sum of over $500,000 in fines throughout his career. That's right, a whopping $554,728. It's no secret that he marches to the beat of his own drum, and he's made it clear that winning a Grand Slam is his top priority. So maybe all these fines don't really faze him after all. Or maybe he's secretly hoping that he can make a new record for the most fines ever accumulated by a tennis player. Who knows? One thing's for sure, Kyrgios isn't afraid to speak his mind, and he sure isn't afraid to pay the price for it. So, from playing badly just so he could leave the Shanghai Masters early, to imitating a sex act in the middle of a Queen's Club championship game, those were all the absurd reasons Nick Kyrgios has been fined.